Hey, welcome to my channel. So today, this is what I'm going to be doing for the very first time. So if you're new here, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. I am going to attempt for the first time to make a quilted jacket out of a quilt. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. So if you want to see the progress, or if you want to see me mess up, or do whatever it is that I'm going to be doing, stay tuned to this video, because yeah. So I found this blanket, this quilted blanket, which is double-sided. I bought this at Ollie's for $10, $9.99, 2 years ago. And I was going to do something with the blanket, but I changed my mind. So today, I'm gonna try my best to make it a quilt jacket. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. So this is part one, day one of me trying to make a quilted jacket out of a quilt. So I had this jacket in my closet that fits me really well, and I am going to take this jacket, if I can put it on, I'm gonna take this jacket and duplicate it. Okay, so the sleeves fit, I don't know if you can see it, but they fit really nicely, but I normally wear my sleeves cuffed. So, but I'm gonna make it the same length sleeve wise for the quilted jacket. However, let me see, I don't know if you can see, but let me bring you down just a little bit, sorry. So this jacket hits right here in my waist area. I'm just going to extend my jacket just a little bit on the quilted jacket. And so I'm gonna take that measurement right now. And in this video, I will just tell you what I'm using. I probably will list everything in the description box, but I don't even know what I'm doing. So therefore, I can't tell you what to do and what to have out and none of that, because I'm trying this for the first time. So I'll have about 4 inches that I need to add to this jacket, or the length of the new jacket from this existing jacket. So I'm gonna add about 4.5 inches so that I can fold it over and have a seam allowance. So let me get my stuff set up and we will get started. Y'all pray for me in the chat, in the comments. Leave a comment if you've ever done this before, okay? I'm just gonna place this sheet on the floor just so I don't get my jacket dirty. Because I am in my hair shop, and so even though it's swept and mopped, I'm pretty sure there is some hair or something on the floor. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, this is the blanket. This is the way that it's supposed to be on the bed, right? And I think that, let me measure this, so just in case, because I don't know and I don't want anybody to get confused. I'm just gonna fold this in half like this. And I don't want to confuse myself, honey, so let's do this kind of properly, okay? So this is 30 inches this way. So if you unfold it, that means you have 60 inches wide. And then the longest part of this quilt is, I'm just gonna fold it in 4s. So I'm gonna fold it in half, and then I'm just gonna fold it again in half and try to meet the bottom as best as I can, line it up. So it may be like an approximately, this measurement may be approximately, don't, whatever. Okay, so then I'm going to take my tape measure and just go from one end to the other folded end, which is approximately 40. So what you would do is take 40 and double that because we have it folded. So I have 60 by 80. Okay, so that's the width and the length of my fabric. So what I'm going to do is, this is the way, so it's folded in half. I'm gonna fold it in half the long way, I believe. But that's what I think I'm gonna have to start with, is to fold it long ways, have it lengthwise. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do it like, I have to do it like this. And then I'm gonna lay it down on top of this sheet. Okay, so I'm gonna take my jacket, and this is folded lengthwise, okay? I just want to try my best to match this up and have it somewhat perfect. It may not be perfect, but I'm gonna try to line this up. I do have some quilting pins. Let's see. I'm gonna move this, and I don't even know which way to go. Okay, let's start from the top. Let me start from the top. So and I need to have this backwards, right sides facing. So let me change that before we even get started, okay? So make sure that your blanket or fabric is right sides facing. Okay, let me see. Okay, I gotta stand up for this. And on the back side of this is like directional. So I'm going to flip it this way so that this this tower is facing this way, okay? However you say, Eiffel tower, yeah, okay, whatever. Whatever. It's whatever, it's whatever, it's whatever. However you say it, whatever. Okay? Yeah. So I'm gonna, if I can find them. Okay. I'm gonna take my quilting pins, and I'm just going to put a couple of pins in here just to keep this from shifting. So I want to make this as flat as possible, but as even as possible from the sides and in the middle. Just keep smoothing it out. And I'm just gonna put a couple of pins in this top portion so I can get the back of my jacket cut out first. Okay, I got enough pins. so I'm gonna take my jacket, unbutton it, and I'm going to fold this in the front, matching up my shoulder seams, and then matching up the arm sleeves. And I'm gonna lay it down so that I can get this flat. Okay. Maybe I do need to keep it fold. Maybe I do need to keep the buttons. I'm gonna button it back because it doesn't look, that don't look right. So bear with me because it's my first time, so I'm gonna make some mistakes. But I'm gonna love my jacket once it's done. Whether it looks like something or it doesn't, I'm gonna wear it anyway. I'm not looking for perfection, I'm looking for done. Bottom line. Okay, so I'm gonna lay this out and fold this in half, matching. Okay, so y'all see this has a button that's making this a little bit tighter. I'm gonna undo this button as well and undo this button. So I'm gonna fold this in half. Matching my side shoulder seams and okay. Now matching the side seam as well. This is just a rough draft of what size my jacket will be. I didn't even know this had a tear in it. I might have to see how it's, but anyway, it's old. Okay, so instead of going at the top right here, I'm gonna move this down just a little bit so that I can get my neck collar or the neck of my jacket into the seam allowance, into the dimensions of this jacket. I don't even know how to explain that, but let's just do it. So I'm going to actually leave about 1 inch on the side of this measurement. Now you could take your marking tool and mark a 1 inch all the way down if you would like. I'm not gonna do that. I'm just going to eyeball mine and pray that it works. Okay, so I'm gonna take the top part of my jacket, which is the shoulder seams, and I'm just going to mark it, and I am going to leave about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch away from the jacket because I have to use some of this for the seam allowance, and I really don't even know what the seam allowance is at this moment. So we just gonna make this like that. And so I'm stopping at this shoulder seam, the highest point of my shoulder seam. I'm stopping right there, and then what I'm going to do is fold the neck of my jacket towards the back, okay? And I'm just gonna draw a curve, and hopefully you can see that, but let me change the camera angle and maybe you. Okay, so you should be able to see the lines that I drew at the top, and then also this 1 inch that I left over here on the side. You should be able to see that as well. So what I did was I just folded my neck line away from the measurements, and adding that 1 inch, about 1 inch, I just drew my curved line, okay? So that is the top portion, my shoulder seam side. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna take my sleeves, fold them in on themselves, like try to get this, oh, like that, okay, to the best of your ability. I'm going to draw my line out. So I'm taking another inch from this line. So I'm gonna draw a line. This is my shoulder seam. This is where it stops. So I'm taking an inch from the measurement, and then I'm gonna start coming down. And I'm going to follow the curve in my armhole an inch away from the measurements, from the jacket, if I can, yeah, from the jacket. And then my seam stops here, so I'm just gonna draw a straight line just to let me know where my seam kind of stops. And then I'm just going to take this out towards the right, or out from the jacket, because I need to make this another inch, okay, away from my jacket. And then I'm going to take this and bring this down. But what I want to do first is add my 4.5 inches down here to the bottom, which I could do it with this. So from the edge of this jacket, I'm going to be stopping my measurements right here. And hopefully you can see that. If not, I'll try my best to get it in the camera. So right now I am making the line for the side seam of my jacket. And this is my seam. So this is the 1 inch mark. My seam actually stops here. Oh, wait a minute. I have to do it like this. So I'm gonna take this, and I'm gonna use my erasable pen and see if I can't see these lines a little more, because this is white in this area. So I'm gonna just take my ruler, sit it right there, and try to draw this line straight, or somewhat straight, okay? Just so I can see it, because I can't see it with the white chalk. And hopefully you can see that line, but if you can't, it's okay. And then I'm gonna go across this side, the bottom. Okay, so when I lift this up, I should have a pattern for the back of my jacket, okay? When you fold it in half, when you open it up, it should be one whole piece, all right? That's why you make your measurements on the fold. So I'm gonna lift this up, and I'm just gonna write fold just so people will know it's folded. You might not be able to see that, but it's a fold, just like that. And I do want to measure my neckline, this line right here that I created, because I don't want it to be too big. So I'm gonna just extend this ever so slightly, a 1/2 inch, and then I'm gonna come down. And that's just what I want to do. You don't have to do it like this. Okay, so this is a 3.5 inch opening. So when you open it up like this, it's going to end up being 6.5 to 7 inches. But then when you put the seam allowance in and sew it down, it will probably come back down to a 6. And I can look and see or measure the neckline of this existing jacket just to see. How would I do that? Do I measure this? Okay. Don't choke yourself. Okay, so I would measure something like this. So this is 16, right? But I still have to do the front. So this is just one part of my neckline. I hope that makes sense and I ain't confused nobody. But anyway, that's what I'm doing. And so I have this part done. So now I'm going to slide my blanket down. I'm gonna pin this just so it stays together. All right. So, all right. Okay, so now let's get the front part. The front part of the jacket measured. I'm just going to scoop this up and lay it flat, and then I'm going to put a couple of pins in it to keep it still. Okay. You can pin this before you even get started, like pin it all the way. I just chose not to. I'm just pinning as I go, because that's the way my brain works. It would be quicker to probably pin it all and then do your measurements. Okay. So I'm just going to do the same exact thing that I did for the back, for the front. So here I have my jacket. Now I'm going to fold my jacket sleeves towards the back. So now I'm about to work on the front, and it's gonna be 2 panels. So I'm just gonna line my side seams up again. And you probably could find a better jacket. This is just one that I like the way that it fits, so I chose to use this one. Okay, so I'm making sure that this is flat and straight. Okay. And on the front, I'm only gonna use about a 1/2 inch away from the fold line. So just make sure that your side seams match up. And then I'm gonna tuck this collar in just so I can see my neckline measurement or just the shape of the neckline, because I'm not quite sure how it's shaped, honestly. I know it's kind of round, but it's not fully round. And then, so see, this is interfering with the bottom of my jacket, so I'm going to slide this down just a little bit so that I'll have enough to make sure I don't cut into the top of my other jacket, okay? Hopefully I'm still in the camera frame. I don't know, but let me check it before I keep going. All right, so I can go ahead on and add my 4.5 inches to the bottom of this. So this is where my jacket is going to stop. So this is going to be the end of my jacket. I'll straighten it out in just a second. So now I want to create this top part of my jacket. Oh, can't see it. Let's do this. And so my seam, shoulder seam stops right here. I'm just gonna draw a line there. And then continue with the measurement. So now I'm coming in. Now I want to get down here and don't want to make the chalk lines. It's okay. I'm going to get this. So this is out. Oh wait, I didn't come down far enough. Hold on. Okay, let's see. So this is my front. I'm just gonna put an F for front. And I'm gonna go ahead on and cut these two pieces out. And then you can reshape them once you cut it out. So, I'm gonna go ahead on and cut it out. Oh, sweet baby Jesus. All right. And this flow hurt. It's hard. It's hard out here for a pimp. Okay. This, I'm just making sure that this is flat. Oh, am I scared? Yes. But let's do it. I know y'all probably cringing like, oh Lord, her fabric is moving. I know. And I know you can't see it, but I'm looking at this purple line that I made with that pen, with the marker. That's what I'm going by right now. Because it's hard to see. Okay, it's out. So this one will be whole. So I can take the pen out of this. And then I'm going to lay it down. We're going to see what it look like. I'm going to open it up. Okay, girl. Okay. All right. So, we have that part. Let's move on to the front. That's what it's looking like. So this is the front piece. And this part, or this piece, will be split in the front. Split in the middle. Split down the middle, rather. Okay. Just make sure you take your time cutting this. I don't know why this armhole looks to be longer than the other one, but we gonna find out if it is or if it isn't. I'm gonna need a massage after this, so who? No, let me not say that. Haha. I'ma just need a massage. I'll do it myself. Okay. And this is probably not the proper way to cut this because, I mean, I'm on the floor. I'm just doing the best that I can with what I have. You know, if you have a table that's big enough and wide enough, kudos to you, boo-boo, because listen, your girl got to get on the floor, all right? So before I unpin this, I'm gonna split this down the middle. So I'm just turning it so that I can see it. Oh, my shears keep getting caught up in here. They so sharp, they catching on to everything. Oh, guess what? If it's a little wonky, it'll be folded in the seam allowance anyway. So as long as I don't cut my fabric, like the part underneath, I should be good. I can always clean this cut up. Let me know in the comments, how do you cut your fabric? Do you have to get on the floor like me? Do you have a table designated just for cutting? You know, what's the secret? Because I don't know until I can get something big enough. This is what I'm doing at the moment, okay? Use what you have and do what you can do until you can do better. Okay, that's on period. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Okay? Because I do a lot of nothing on this channel. So you can follow me if you like to do nothing too. So we're gonna take our back piece and I just wanna see if my armholes line up with this. So hold on now. It's still pinned. So I have two separate pieces. So this side will go right side together with this. Oh baby, let me see. I hope y'all can see. Okay. Wait, let me move this just so you can see. Yes, honey. Yes, honey. Yes. Okay. And let me see. They are about the same length. Okay. The front is just a little bit longer than the back, but okay, girl. And then, so let's see about this side. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. It is starting to look like something. I don't know what, but it's starting to look like something. Okay. Ooh, okay, I gotta take a break because your girl, yes. Okay, so what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna take my front and back panel, put them together like this, and pin them on the sides, on both sides, and then try it on just to see if the fit is the way that I want it. I would suggest you do this before cutting out your arm sleeves. That way, if you need to make any adjustments, you can do so now. But what do I know? Nothing, because I'm a beginner. This is my first time. So take my advice, maybe, or don't. I don't know. I don't know. It just makes sense to me, but it may not make sense to you. And I don't have a dress form that's big enough. I mean, like that's my size, I guess you could say. So I'm just gonna try it on and see if it fits. So just give me a minute while I pin this together. And I'm trying to pin within my 1-inch seam allowance so that I know that it's enough. So it may not be perfect when I try it on, but it will give me an idea if I'm on the right track or not. Time for the big reveal. Okay. I'm gonna turn this. Should I turn it right side? No, I think I'm gonna try it on backwards like this. So this is going to be the inside of the jacket. This will be the outside of the jacket. And I may be able to use it as a reversible jacket because I am going to put bias tape in my seam allowance inside of the jacket. So let's try it on, see what we got. Okay, so I got it pinned and I'm gonna put it on backwards. Oh my God. Look at my jacket, look at my jacket, look at my jacket, look, look, look. Okay, let me turn it around and see what it looks like from the right side. Okay, so let's check. Oh, this is good. This is good. This is good. I think that's good. Do you think it's too big? Maybe I could close it in a little. But it's a jacket, so you kind of want a little freedom under here. Stay tuned, baby. We will see. Okay. 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 It's looking like a jacket. It's looking like a jacket. It's looking like a Okay, now it's time to do the sleeve. And I'm gonna show you what I have left of my fabric. Okay, so it's got this big old hole in it. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to take whatever fabric that I have. It's not going to necessarily line up with my jacket pieces, but being that it's kind of patchworky, I'm gonna work it in. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my fabric. So it was going this way. Okay, I'm going to take this piece. Okay, I'm gonna take this piece and fold it onto itself. So right side still facing, okay? It may be hard to see because there's a lot going on right here, right? But the only thing that I'm concerned about or that I want to make sure of is this edge right here. When I fold this over, even though this makes this curve, I want to try to line this up with the back side of this as straight as possible. So when I do cut it, it will be, I guess, somewhat even and have enough fabric, okay? So I'm going to pin this up, and hopefully that made sense, but it probably didn't. But it's okay. I promise you, it's okay. So I'm just gonna pin it so that it doesn't move when I get ready to trace it. So remember, you're gonna do right sides together no matter what fabric you have left, okay? No matter what fabric you have left. Just make sure it's right sides together and that you can fold them over. You have enough. So I'm just gonna cut off this excess just so I can get a better idea of what I'm working with and what I have. And if you notice that I put on a jacket, that's because, baby, it's cold out here. All right. And I ain't used to that. All right, so I'm just going to continue to fold it in half, making sure that I have enough of this that meets this, okay? Just fold what you have. So I'm coming down to the end of this, and I might as well cut it off. It's in the way of my fold. I probably could have laid the pattern pieces or traced them in a better way, but nothing was separated, so it kind of, I just didn't. So I'm just gonna continue to put some pins in this to keep the fabric together. And the reason I'm doing this is because I need two pieces. So I need to do one right sleeve and I need to do one left sleeve. So my goal is to put one of my sleeves down over here and then flip it and make the other side. So that's what we're doing. So it may seem just a little bit off, but stick with me. Stick with me. Okay, so I got that, and then I'm just gonna cut this little piece just to clear all of this. I still have to make the collar for the jacket, and then I think that's it. Once I do the sleeves, I think I'm done with cutting the pieces. Okay, so we're gonna start with this. So right sides together, and then I'm gonna take my jacket. So this is the left sleeve and this is the right side. Okay, so I'm gonna put my sleeve down and pray to God that I have enough material to get this done. So this is the end of my sleeve, and then I want to take my jacket lay it down flat as you can. It may not like lay really flat, but you do want to kind of get any wrinkles out of it as you can. So I'm noticing that this sleeve is I would say like rippled a little bit inset inside of this. So I'm not quite sure how this is going to go, because that means that it's not flat. It's not setting down flat. But I'm just gonna do the best that I can with the material that I have and go from there. So let me get a pen. So what I'm going to do to trace my arm sleeve, okay, yeah, I think this is right. I'm gonna take my arm sleeve. Hopefully you can see this. And I'm gonna take this. No, I can't do it with a pen. Hold up. I can't do it with a pen. I'm gonna have to trace it with my marker, with the erasable marker. Or my chalk. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. Just hold on. Okay, so I'm gonna. Ooh, it just seems like I don't have enough. That's just what it seems like. See, okay, because I won't have any extra seam allowance up here. Let me see if any one of these pieces, okay, let's see, is long enough. I may be able to get the sleeve out of this, because I need it to be wide, and I think it's wider on this bottom. So I'm just gonna take this one up. Let me take the pins. Well, I'll take the pins out later. Hold on. I'm sorry. So I want to, and I'm gonna cut off what I don't need so it won't be so confusing, because I'm not only confusing you, I'm confusing myself. But we gonna get it. So I want to line this up so that I have enough underneath. So I'm gonna cut this off. I probably should have lined my sleeve up to see if I'm even. And did I just cut the wrong? Did I just cut the wrong side? Jesus. Maybe not. This looks like it's a wider piece as well. Okay, let me see. Okay, let's get rid of that and focus on this and see if I have enough just for the one sleeve, and then I'll work on the second sleeve after this. I'm leaving just a little bit extra because I want to try to just make my jacket a little bit longer, just so when I flap my sleeve, when I cuff the sleeves up, I'll have a little bit of extra room. So I think this is going to work because I have just a little bit of extra room down here. And if I bring this closer, and then I'll have just a tiny bit of seam allowance up here, which is fine with me. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just pin the jacket. So I'm pinning it right here at the crease, which is the seam of the existing jacket. So I'm gonna pin along that area. You'll see why in just one moment. You want to pin inside to the inside of the seam, not the outside of the seam. So I'm just gonna pin all along here. Make sure that your bottom fabric and your jacket kind of stay flat as possible. Ouch. I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay. All right. So this is flat, that's flat. And I'm just gonna lift my sleeve up like this. Being that it's pinned along this edge, I can use the back seam to draw my sleeve. Up until this line. So I just take this, fold it over, and this is how I'm going to draw my sleeve, okay? And I'm gonna have to use my marker. And remember, I'm drawing my sleeve, I'm drawing my sleeve, the curve of my sleeve like this, but I will have to use or leave some seam allowance. So when I pick my jacket up, I'm gonna add the seam allowance into this section of my sleeve. And hopefully that makes sense to you. Okay, so now I'm gonna lay my sleeve back down and then trace all of this. Let me see, I may be able to use my chalk for this part just so I can see it. And then use my pen the rest of the way on the white. And remember, this is kind of like a rough draft, so when you cut it, you can cut it straight. So right here is where I'm gonna leave that extra. And I'm just gonna make it go across evenly. And I'm gonna go ahead on and add my seam allowance right here. Cause I don't need that much. The sweat, the jacket, the existing jacket fits very well. So I don't want my sleeves to be humongous. So this is my cut line right now. This will be my new cut line. All right, and then I'm gonna come over on this side. Meeting up with the existing cuff and then tracing the rest of my pattern. And then I'll just add the seam allowance. And on this darker fabric, you gotta have something that you can see. And I'm just gonna continue doing that until I get all of my pieces like this. So like I said, this is kind of like a rough draft of your sleeve. You can always adjust this once you start sewing. Okay, and I'm gonna pray to God that it's enough. So I'm gonna unpin this. I need the seam allowance angels to be in the building. Where they at? Where they at? Where they at? Okay, anywho. So, if you can see my line, the purple line, I'm gonna cut outside of this line. I'm adding about 1/2 of an inch or so of seam allowance. The moment of truth, I'm just gonna cut it. Oh, I should have, let me see something. I should have marked where the edge of my original hem, okay? Because I'm gonna use this same pattern for the other side because they are mirrored image of each other. So here we go. Okay, got that out the way. So now I'm just gonna cut this line. Da 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 na 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 na. I'm talking to myself to keep from crying. Okay. Okay. Oh. Okay. So if I could guess, I would say right now I would say about an hour and 20 minutes in. I did not time myself. Oh my goodness. I just made a boo-boo. I was supposed to keep my seam. This is supposed to be one piece, right? Because my shoulder. Oh, wait. They have like a seam. Oh, Jesus. Towards the back. I was supposed to bring my arm up so that this would be one piece. So I'm just going to have a seam coming down my sleeve because I'm already running out of fabric and we'll see what that looks like. But don't do it like this. Make sure you line the top of the jacket up with the top of I don't know. Now I'm confused, but I'm gonna make it work. Okay. I'm supposed to go all the way up and cut this, but I'm gonna leave this part and just run the seam through here because I messed it up. So let me show you what you should have done, I believe. Okay, so this is the sleeve, right? You're supposed to hold it there and bring this to the front so that you just make this your seam allowance, put it all the way up to where this is the seam allowance, and all you're doing is cutting this. And I didn't do that. Mine came down like this, and so that made me end up cutting this into two sections, and I only needed one. because when you open the sleeve, it just should be one piece, but that's not what happened. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do, since I've confused you and myself, I'm just going to cut the other one off camera and I'll come back. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Okay, so I did my other sleeve off camera. So I have 2 sleeves. Totally jacked those up, but we're going to make it work. We're going to make it work. So now I want to do or trace the neck collar of this jacket. So I'm just going to unbutton it so that it can be flat. And hopefully I have enough material. If not, I need to cut another piece or find another piece that's long enough to fit. Okay, so I think this will work. So let me move that and get this piece. Okay, so I think I'm gonna cut this part a little straight. Take this raggedy piece off of here. Just bear with me for a moment. Okay. I should have enough with this. Who knows? Okay, who knows? All right, so lay this out, and then I just want to lay my collar down and basically just follow the shape of the collar, okay? And then what I'm going to do is pin this down so at the bottom portion of the collar, because this is the part I'm going to add to the neckline. Hopefully that makes sense once we get to sewing and putting this all together, which is going to be a part 2. So you're going to have to stay tuned for the next video. So I'm just pinning this down, and then we're going to trace it. And I only need one piece because I am going to bias bind my seams. And this is the bias binding that I had on hand. And I know that this pink does not match. I mean, it kind of matches, but it's not perfect. And you won't see it on this side except for the front and the collar. So I'm just gonna, you know, make it do what it do. It don't have this light color pink on the front, but it'll be okay. I think it'll blend in. I don't know. Anywho, let me do this. Just hold this out flat and trace it. Hold this flat and trace it. this is where it's going to connect. I'm gonna try my best to connect this, but if it don't work out, it's okay. I'll just leave it. I'll leave that piece off. I mean, it's no biggie. No biggie. So where my indentions are is where my the top part will stop, and then oh, I forgot to put a little mark where the other band will stop. Okay, let me unpin this. Pull this away. And then I want to take my ruler and just go from one side to the other. This is the top part. Connecting that. And then move this down and connect the bottom. Because it's kind of like, it was kind of like in a curve shape. So okay, and then I'm just gonna cut that out, and like I said, when I do this, it's going to have bias binding around it, so I don't need to fold it over. I don't need a backing. I don't need any other thing, because I'm gonna probably serge these edges, serge all of these three, this row, and this row, and then bias bind those together. And then this piece will be attached to this piece, and then this piece will be attached to the main jacket. So let me cut it out, and I'm just going to leave seam allowance just a little bit around. Let me cut this way so I can cut this one straight across. And I'm only gonna leave a little bit of seam allowance, not much. That's just so I can attach it, and then hopefully it still lies flat the way that it should. So then I'm gonna cut this part, which was my rounded part, and then I'm gonna cut across. And I probably could have left this, but to me it just seems like I needed to cut it and then add it back. I don't know. I guess to make it look like it have some type of definition. So then I'll fold this over and just make sure that this is even. And I don't know what kind of cutting I was doing, but it's kind of even now. So that's the yoke part. And then this would be the collar. I'm just leaving a seam allowance just in case I need to fold this over and make a to hide the raw seams. I really don't know yet. So I didn't want to cut it exact and then not have enough fabric, okay? Because remember, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so then I have this piece, and I'm just gonna fold it over, making sure that they match up. And I'm going to notch, I'm gonna put a notch in this so that I can line this up once I go back to it. And cut cut this to be equal with that. Now my tips are round instead of square, but it's gonna be okay. And I'm just cutting off this to make this even. And then I'm going to notch this as well, which is the yoke. Or I don't even know what it's called, but whatever it is, I'm gonna notch this. Okay, so both of those have been notched. So let me show you what I have so far, okay? And then I guess we'll start piecing this together. So this is the yoke of the neck. This is the collar of the neck. And then I have, I have 2 arm pieces. And I am going to put this inside of my pre-made jacket that I have right here. And then I have the front, 2 fronts, and the back of my jacket already cut out. So now I just want to try one of my sleeves and see if they fit. It's hard to do it with, it's not sewn, but I'm just gonna place it inside and see if it kind of matches up. So it would go something like this. Oh, okay, girl, it's perfect. Once I line that up, this is going to be perfect. Okay, like I said, I did mess up the top portion of the sleeve. I end up cutting it, but I end up leaving this part intact on both of the sleeves. I left it intact so that it would be one piece at the top. So don't do what I did and cut your sleeves like this. Make sure it's just one whole piece by lining up your arm at the top and leaving it at the top, making the top part, include that into your seam allowance, okay? But I hope that you guys found some value in this video. Stay tuned for part 2. I will be sewing this together. I will also be doing the bias binding, bias tape around. So all of this, once I sew this down, I will put bias tape down here just to make it look neat. And then when I do the bottom of my jacket and I fold it over one time, I'm going to serge all of my edges and then fold it over one time and then put my bias tape around that just to make it look neat and somewhat professional, okay? So this, even though it's a little junky, concludes the very first portion of this video, and stay tuned for part 2. I got a jacket. I got a jacket. I'm making a jacket. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm making a jacket.